Is your environment helping or hurting the lifestyle that you want? And I don't ask this just because an environment can make it easier or more difficult to stick with a healthy lifestyle. I ask it because your environment impacts your identity, how you see yourself. And your identity impacts, if not even determines, the actions that you're going to take. Welcome, I'm Sheri Traxler with Nourish Your Life, author of Go Forward, 28 Days to Eat, Move, and Enjoy Life God's Way. Today I want to tell you about how your environment impacts your identity and how your identity then impacts your actions. I was very blessed as a child that my family helped me create an identity as an exerciser. It's simply who I am, so much so that I remember in a summer camp one evening, I was exercising in my room. Some other campers walked by, snickered a little bit, but I just kept on exercising because it's who I am. I also remember walking at church a few weeks ago. It was too cold to walk outside, so my husband and I were walking inside the building before a church meeting, and it was fascinating to me that some people, they gave us a quizzical look, but other people said, "You're inspiring me," and they joined in and started walking as well. So you know when your environment has impacted your identity so much that you're taking action, when whether people snicker or look at you strange or they join in and they follow, you simply do what it is that's your lifestyle. For my exercise, it's just common now that I always have exercise shoes with me. And I have a home gym set up for whenever I don't feel like going to the gym. Toward the end, I'm going to give you some ideas of all the ways you can change your environment to change your identity. Those were just a couple of examples. Let's also talk about the negative side of this and how I have changed it. I also grew up with the diet mentality. Our environment supported the diet mentality. We had calorie counting books. We had recipes that we had broken down into what the calories were, or the fat grams, or the carb grams. There were shakes and formulas and all kinds of stuff that would support in the environment a diet mentality. That's what I grew up with, so that's what I did. I had to consciously shift out of that. Let me show you some of the things in my environment I have changed to do that. The diet mentality tells you you can't have fill in the blank, and so of course then you're going to start binging on that. You're going to overeat that. And the diet mentality assumes that you cannot trust yourself with food. So in my environment now, I keep chocolate because it tells me if it's sitting in my pantry, I can trust myself with food. I can trust that I'm not going to binge that. I can trust that I'm going to eat it when I really want it and stop when I'm satisfied. The diet mentality also tells us all that matters is your macros or the keto or the paleo or whatever it is that you are trying to follow at that time. It doesn't matter if you even stand over the sink and eat it, just as long as you're controlling the food itself. But as an intuitive eater now, we have gotten rid of all of our everyday plates. I know this might sound small, but it makes a difference. In our environment, we got rid of all of our everyday plates and use our nice plates now. We have these, and then we have the really nice china that we use on a regular basis as well. Getting rid of those everyday plates tell me I am someone who savors my meals. I mentioned that I grew up with the calorie counting books and all of the diet books. Well, the opposite of that, to show me that I can trust myself with food, is culinary books. Books that teach me not just how to cook healthy, but how to cook really delicious meals. So I encourage you, if you are changing from a diet mentality, look around your environment and see what is reinforcing the diet mentality and what you can put in your environment to stimulate you, to tell you, to encourage you that you are an intuitive eater. You will fight for your identity. And by fight, I mean that you will overcome the obstacles. You will deal with somebody, making a comment, or even your own mind saying, oh, you should or shouldn't do that. If your identity is that you're an exerciser, that you were an intuitive eater, that you were someone who manages your stress, you will fight for that identity. This is one of the reasons that I encourage you to do some small space gardening. And even if that is just growing a basil plant on your windowsill, and I've got some videos on small space gardening as well as herbs, and I'll link that around. If you are just growing basil and a tomato plant in a container, what does that tell you about yourself? It tells you that your identity is someone who cares about the quality of their food. It's not about you're going to suddenly be sustainable living because you've got a tomato plant and a basil plant. It's all about identity. It's also the reason I encourage you, okay, if you don't do that, maybe go to a farmer's market or a natural food market. Also, one of the things that in my Thrive Life course I encourage people to do is organizing their pantry for a powerful plate, because it tells you, again, you care about food. It also tells you that you are someone who values what you put into your body. I found a book that I want to share with you. It's called Your Do Anything Kitchen. It's from Food 52. And it's amazing for not just helping you set up your pantry like I do in the Thrive Life course, but it shows you how to set up your entire kitchen. If you were somebody who likes to organize, or maybe you want to organize, but you don't necessarily know how, it helps you a lot with that. And also helps you determine what is worth investing in and what's not. And the reason I bring that up is, again, it's about identity. I bought this book. I have not implemented all of it yet, but just having it in my environment reinforces that I am someone who enjoys good food and nourishing my body with good food. Currently, one of the big areas I am working on is becoming more mindful, becoming someone who meditates on a regular basis. And I started to think, what in my environment supports that? What in my environment not only makes it easier for that to happen, but also changes my identity? In your environment, you have three areas. What do you see, what do you hear, and what do you smell? For me, one of the things, because smell is so potent, that I've started doing to remind myself throughout the day that I am a person who is mindful, is I've started wearing sandalwood or cedar wood. So I encourage you, whatever area you're working on, how do you change that identity? Last area I want you to think about in your environment, and this weekend, take some time to do this if this is something for you. If you have set weight loss or weight management as a goal for yourself this year, go to your closet. If you have clothes that are 2 and 3 sizes ago, and they're sitting there, you think that they're telling you, oh, I'm going to get down to that again. But what they're really telling you is, look how you're not where you used to be. They're really telling you, can you really do this? They might even be shaming you some. Get rid of them. Put them in a box. Put them away. You don't have to throw them away, because your goal is weight loss, weight management. As you exercise and intuitively eat, your body will get where it needs to be. But if you're keeping them in sight all the time, they are not doing you any good. They are dishonoring you, and that is only setting you up to see yourself as somebody who fails, and that's not helpful. That's my last tip for you. So whatever activity that you're working on, whatever lifestyle habit, whatever lifestyle health habit that you're doing, what can you put in your environment to help you shift your identity? And with that, go in your closet and clean out the stuff that no longer fits. Let me know in the comments what area that you're working on. Let me know in the comments what you are changing in your environment. Share this with someone who needs to hear this message, that they are struggling to make a habit in an area. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for subscribing and being part of this community. Until next time, find your unique path and your potential.